Do your kids have any black friends? Do your kids have any white friends?
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. Today on this Chatty Monday, we're going to chat with you about some questions you guys sent in. And we appreciate your questions. They help us know what to talk about, know what you want to hear. So the first question is, someone mentioned thanking us for talking about pool safety and wanted us to mention what we do for internet safety.
We have no internet in the house whatsoever. It's from the devil. You don't use it except for uploading YouTube videos. Yeah. I am kidding.
Listen, the internet is here to stay for what, till the next thing, right?
Yeah, the internet is the future.
I think the thing we focus on the most is keeping the internet where everybody can see it. So the devices and things, we like to keep them on the main floor where we all are for transparency and that kind of thing. Right,
and with the older kids, you have that conversation, the whys. It's a consistent thing that you all talk about it, because you want them to know how to use it responsibly and to know that the benefits and the dangers that exist. Yes. I like to think of the internet just like a city. You know, there are good places to go in the city and there are bad places to go in the city. Just kind of constant education and communication through those helps them be able to navigate, because in their worlds, the young people, the internet is their world. And so we focus more on shaping the right kind of relationship with it, not just a complete protectionist, but helping facilitate accountability to some degree to help the kids grow well and safe. Yeah, so together, Solo and I have open and honest conversations with our children. We like to talk to our teens sometimes all together even, and just talk about what they're seeing and why they want to protect themselves from it, because we all know, if we've been on the internet at all, that sometimes these things come into your house or your tablet or your phone or whatever, and you didn't invite it even. Like, they pop up. And so we talk about why it's so important to run from those things, not just telling them to run from those things, and what, you know, the effects of it over time, and give them examples. We're very explicit with that. Use filters, your settings for everything to also not allow certain types of context without permission and all that. Yes. But as they get older too, they have a little more freedom, because we're not just going to send them out into the world with never having gotten online. They use the internet for school. Yeah. Yeah. So many things. So they have to be able to navigate when they run into something they know they shouldn't be on. And we talk about it often here, and we also try to keep everything, like I said, out in the open. And another thing is, our children don't have any social media accounts. And I noticed another question was, do we let our kids even read our YouTube comments? We don't. We don't. And we decided that a long time ago, because, like, you know, and we mentioned this on one video too, is that like 99.9% of you guys are amazing, and we love reading your comments. They're just a handful that would come in and put in appropriate things before we can catch it and delete it, so we don't. I know how sometimes the hard comments, the awful comments directed toward me can affect me on a bad day that I'm having, and I would not want my kids to run across those. Thankfully, we almost never see negative comments toward our children, and I'm so thankful for that, but we know that it is definitely a possibility. So yeah, we lock that down. And I have no interest in them having social media. I know social media is a way that kids get bullied. They don't need that pressure. I have zero interest in it. Do you? No, they don't need it for now. And our kids have not really asked for it. I know we have friends who have kids in school, and there's a lot of peer pressure to be on social media, and some of our friends have stood up and said the same thing, like, no, they will not have it. And their kids, I think, will thank them for it in the end, because it is a lot of pressure. So yeah, and I think, like with most everything, if it's not like you woke up one day and decided never, you know, but you're walking and helping them see what you're doing, well, they're teammates, because it's also their life. I think then you're not gonna be competing. It's like the kids totally just get it. It's like, man, we don't need that, and they agree with you for that. We haven't had the problem. I'm not saying with 10 you're not gonna have an issue in the future, but so far praise God, we don't have, we haven't had that issue, and the kids get why. So,
yes, and we also talk about the internet, like what is online stays online forever, or it's out there somewhere forever. And I think about myself having social media at the ages my kids are, and I am so thankful that it was not a thing. I am so thankful. My parents wouldn't let me have it. There's another question here. It says, how do you, this might be more of a marriage question for our marriage, but we'll just answer this one ahead. How do you approach compromise when parenting from two different perspectives? Example, keep bringing it up, do what I prefer when he's not there, just submit and pray, rock, paper, scissors. What do you do?
Rock, paper, scissors. That's a hard one.
We can only say what we do.
Right.
If we disagree on something, that is important, like about the kids, we have to keep talking it out till we get to the same page or a compromise somewhere in between.
Yeah, I would speak into the fact that doing what your spouse does not want when they are gone is not the way to do it. It's not the way to deal with it.
Yeah.
I can speak. I was like, yeah, it'll
probably make your situation with your child much harder in the end.
Right. Yeah. It makes the situation harder for everyone in the long run. It's hard when you're not on the same page. That's where you need to start. Seeking that commonality, seeking that, and getting back, instead of dealing with the actual situation, going back with your spouse and start just articulating to the best of your ability at least certain boundaries and certain principles that you're gonna work with. Now you're gonna err here and there because you're different personalities, but you could at least have a framework of that you can agree on. I think that's where most of the work needs to be spent, and then everything else will line up through that framework. But agreeing on a framework at least, to me, would be a good starting point on important issues. Not on the tiny little things that don't matter in the end, but on the key on the key issue, things that are consequential by nature. I
think we've talked about this before, or mentioned it before, but when we have disagreed, which we are different people, two different people, two different perspectives,
look at us. Yeah.
Two different upbringings, two different ideas all the time. And when we disagree on finances or kids or something, what helps us a lot is to go to the end, the goal, and then work backward from there, because often our goal is the same.
Yes.
So if we can start from the goal and then go backward, finances, and maybe we had two different ideas of how to get there, but when we can focus on the same goal, it helps us to come to the same page before. So that might work for you.
Yeah, it's like 3 + 3 is 6, and so is 2 + 4. You know, but if your ultimate goal is to get to 6, it will save you a lot of problems. Sometimes just communication style, not necessarily that you have different goals.
Yes, because we often get hung up on that next step.
Right.
That we see differently or something. And I'm saying we as in everybody.
Generally.
Okay, questions for your next Q&A. Do you ever raise your voices? Who is more patient, Sarah or Solo?
I raise my voice all the time, and I'm the least patient. She is amazing.
I raise my voice too.
She doesn't raise her voice.
No Michelle Duggar over here.
She is very, very patient.
She
puts up with me. Think about that.
Oh, come on. Yeah. I don't know how patient I am. You're pretty patient too. He's a more forgiving one. He's easier to forgive. I will say that.
But I offend more often.
That's too funny.
Too much.
Okay. Kimberly asked a question about the teenagers dating. Are they allowed? There were a lot of questions like this actually about dating. And do they have a curfew?
Oh boy.
That's a loaded one.
Here we go again.
So we have talked to our kids about dating. We have no problem with dating, but there's really no reason for them to start dating too early. And our kids hang out with kids of the opposite sex, and they have a great time. They hang out with groups a lot. And none of our kids have expressed a strong desire to go on single dates, because we've had these conversations with them too. I think we would take it more on a case-by-case basis.
Sure.
For sure. And the curfew is the same thing. It's a case-by-case basis based on what they have going on, and if we're like cool with where they're going and how late they'll be home.
going back to dating too, what I have seen working with a lot of families in even my pastoral ministry and seeing a lot of families, while dating sometimes might look cute on kids, it also opens up something in their heart. And then now you see kids that are so young that are already have experienced heartbreak. And heartbreak is not a fun thing. And to me, it's sad to see the devastation of heartbreak in very, very young people. I just think kids should be innocent for a while and enjoy life and not have
one childhood.
Yeah, you have one childhood. Yeah. Why have to deal with, you know, as cute and fun as dating might look sometimes, it's you know, it's the experience of heartbreak. There is no breakup that is awesome. Hollywood might say, oh, we divorced and we're the best friends and all that. It's a lie. It's not true. It's not true.
Maybe they get there after a while.
After a while, but immediately there's no breakup that's good. There's not a good breakup that doesn't do something. Still a piece of your heart is messed up by any breakup that happens. And so to me, I think we protect kids physically. We don't want, we wouldn't let someone in the street come and punch them in the face.
Yes.
Then why let someone punch them in the heart?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where I look at it. Is like, hey, it's more of helping them. And as they understand, you know, most kids like, I don't want to deal with that. And they've seen friends that have dated and then have a breakup and what it does to their heart. And so if you're having those conversations, I think kids have a lot of buy-in if they can see the reasoning behind it versus just having a rule. You shall not date in this house.
Until you are 17 and a half.
Yeah, or 24 and 3/4. You know, so I mean, you don't have, you know, so that sometimes it is kind of productive. Yeah. But when they see kids are intelligent, they have a buy-in and they want what's best for them if they can communicate. So that's kind of our approach, you know. Yes. We take it as we go, have some general principles and talking to the older kids at least why we think the way we think and why we think that's good.
Our oldest is only 16, so we have not had a lot of experience yet in this. Obviously, we have a lot of personalities to come, but we are also not making a hard and fast rule. We're kind of taking it case by case, having open, honest conversations. But there was something you said that just reminded me so much of electronics and internet, and that is that we want kids to be kids. The kids these days have lost a lot of innocence, and we really do try to protect that in this house. Not that they're not exposed to anything in the world at all. That's not the case. In fact, we travel wide with our kids. We have lots of conversations with them about hard things, but we also only get one childhood, and we want
it's shorter. If you live a normal life, you're only a kid for a few years, and the rest of your life you're an adult and you have to deal with all the mess.
Yeah, so we want them outside playing and having a good time and just enjoying, enjoying what it is to be a kid, you know, the old school way. So. Yeah,
kids are losing their innocence in so many things very early.
Yeah.
Very early these days. I don't think it's healthy for kids, and I don't think it's healthy for the community at large.
Yeah, so it's always this balance of preparing them for the world so that there's not this shock, and we really don't want that either, but also allowing them to have a childhood and maintain their innocence. And a lot of that is turning off the electronics and talking to them about why it's maybe not a good idea to get into an intense dating relationship
and
at this young age, you know.
Healthy boundaries around your life.
Yeah.
Guarding your mind and your heart.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, that's a lot. I think we could probably end here, right?
We probably could, but there was this question. I think I gotta answer it just because I've seen it several times, maybe 3-4 times.
Oh, you said last week.
Last week. And, you know, and I'm honestly not sure if it's the same person or it's just a question that
keeps coming up.
That keeps coming up and some people are curious about. And the question was, do your kids have any black friends? I seen it first time, I thought, huh. And then I seen it again. And I thought, you know, maybe we should talk about it. Number one, the direct answer is yes, they do. They do have many black, brown, or green eyes. They're friends of all races and of all demographics. Our church is actually arguably the most racially diverse church in Lincoln. I would think we probably rank up there, if not the most. But also, we live in Lincoln, Nebraska. And the demographic in Lincoln, Nebraska, it's 89% Caucasian. When I moved in Lincoln, it was 93%. And so naturally, you're gonna have more white people than black people. And so naturally, you're gonna have most of your friends, if you interact in your community at all, are gonna be Caucasian or white than black. There are black people, and we have black friends, but they don't constitute the majority of where we live. For us, we really don't make that big a deal of race. It's not like race is not important, but look at us. We don't really make very big a deal of it. I was thinking with that question, and I remember growing up in Kenya, and I knew Sarah's family, her uncle, that were missionaries there, and they raised their kids in Kenya, where the majority was black. Most of their kids' friends were black. And I just thought that question in reverse, you know, if someone asked Sarah's uncle John and Molly's like, do your kids have any white friends? It would have sounded really funny because it was just a product of where they lived as well. So I hope that makes sense to you. But you got to look at demographics and all that. But
just practically speaking too, we actually don't vlog with, you haven't seen some of our best friends because it's kind of awkward. Like, hey, do you want to be on our video today? When we are with our friends, we are just with our friends. And you do see a couple of our friends that are neighbors because we're with them so often that we've had the conversations like, are you okay being on the vlog? Because our kids are with them all the time. And so you do get one perspective a lot, but then when we're with our other friends, honestly, we're
having dinner today with you guys, but we're gonna turn on the camera. You know?
That's awkward.
They're gonna quit having dinner with us if their camera shot.
Do their hair and makeup to come over. You know, it's just kind of not as natural to vlog all the time with all of your friends. We don't turn the camera on at church very often. We don't want our people at church to feel uncomfortable, and so you have to remember that there's that part of our lives that maybe in the future we'll be more comfortable with, and taking the camera in public and with friends and stuff, but at this point we haven't much.
Exactly. Hopefully that answered your question. I'd seen it before a few months ago, and then you know how you run into it. When I saw it 2 or 3 times, I'm like, maybe we should address this.
Yeah, so hopefully that answers some of your questions. We really appreciate that, guys, that you wrote in. This week we have some fun videos coming at you. I'm going to talk about getting your body back after a baby. That was one of the questions actually, and we're just making a video about it and what we're doing in that regard. What we're doing?
Yeah. Now she gets her body back after her baby.
That didn't come out right, but I think he's in the video too. And then
I haven't gotten my body back after the babies. The 10 baby, I'm just still carrying the baby weight for the last 10.
And then we have a fun vlog where we're showing you some changes we made to our house that we kept a secret from you. And then we also have a marriage Q&A coming, and I think another meal prep video. I hope you guys like a lot of meal prep videos. Yeah, so stay tuned if any of that sounds interesting, and thank you guys so much for watching today.
Thank you guys.
Talk to you again soon.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.